Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Scientists have finally proved what most people have known all along, and that is millions of years of evolution have meant that human beings are designed to eat meat, and that meat is actually not just necessary, but crucial to a healthy diet. We're going to take a look at this. Now, this sort of blows all the vegetarian and vegan arguments out of the water. Because they claim that if you eat meat, then you're susceptible to this and that and the other. And what these scientists are saying is, no. It's the balance of the diet that is more important than the contents of the diet. And that there are certain nutrients that can only come from meat. Indeed, places like Italy, it's actually illegal to make a child a vegetarian or a vegan because it is so damaging to the growth and the development, especially the mental development of a child. So we'll take a look at this article, see what's going on, and it just sort of ratifies. I mean, I've eaten meat. I know there are vegetarians, and I don't criticise anyone who chooses not to eat meat, but the argument that eating meat is bad is quite clearly provably wrong now. But if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, hey, knock yourself out. I don't care. You leave my bacon alone, and I'll leave you to your tofu. How's that? Here goes. So meat is crucial for human health, scientists say, as they call for the end of the zealotry pushing vegetarian and vegan diets. Scientists have said farming is far too important to become the victim of zealotry. Farming is massively important. And despite what all the claims are, you cannot feed the world on a vegetarian diet. Certainly you need red meat rather for certain things that do not exist otherwise in nature, and especially for mental development. Taurine, for example, a child who grows up without eating taurine has a much lower IQ. This is provably true. This has been measured, seen, and the results are incontrovertible on that one. Scientists have called for zealots to stop pushing vegetarian and vegan diets onto people, warning that meat is crucial for a healthy lifestyle. Almost 1,000 academics from leading universities across the world have signed an initiative which argues that livestock farming is far too important to become the victim of zealotry. Publishing in the academic journal Animal Frontiers as part of a collaboration between professional animal science societies, dozens of experts looked behind new claims that eating meat causes diseases as well as being harmful for the planet. And neither of these things, it turns out, are true. It comes amid a bigger push from campaigners to take up a plant-based diet, with initiatives such as Veganuary and Meat-Free Mondays, neither of which happen in my house. Further to this, the medical journal The Lancet published a paper, The Global Burden of Diseases, Injuries and Risk Factor Study, in 2020, where they said a high red meat diet was responsible for 896,000 deaths globally. Turns out that The Lancet are lying. Researchers found, however, that it is hard to replicate the nutritional content of meat. It added that those who live in poorer communities and have low meat intake often suffer from a number of nutrient-deficient diseases, such as stunted growth, wasting, and anemia. Researchers in Animal Frontiers said that unprocessed meat is responsible for providing B12 vitamins, omega-3 fatty acids, and minerals such as iron and zinc, as well as supplying retinol and, as I mentioned, taurine. The paper suggested that the link between red meat and disease was almost eradicated when it was combined with a healthy diet, leading to the suggestion it was the rest of the diet that is the cause behind health issues. Here's an interesting little fact for anyone out there who's thinking of becoming a vegetarian. Fewer than 1% of animals on the planet are poisonous. 99.9% of plants on the planet are poisonous. So just be careful what you eat. Anyway, one of the authors of the peer review, Dr. Alice Stanton from the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, explained that peer-reviewed evidence showed that the global burden study claim was fatally scientifically flawed. She added, removing fresh meat and dairy from diets would harm human health. Women, children, the elderly and people on low income would be particularly negatively impacted. But the ones that sit and push this, and I'm not just talking about the normal people, the normies who happen to be vegetarian or vegan. I'm on about the zealots, the ones that push all the time and go there and say demanding. They are actually causing human health problems by pushing this. Livestock-derived foods provide a variety of essential nutrients and other health-promoting compounds, many of which are lacking in diets, even among those populations with higher incomes. Well-resourced individuals may be able to achieve adequate diets while heavily restricting meat and dairy and eggs. However, this approach should not be recommended for general populations. Another one of the report's authors, Dr. Wilhelm Windisch of the Technical University of Munich, added one-size-fits-all agendas, such as the drastic reductions of livestock numbers, could incur environmental and nutritional consequences on a massive scale. And that's because the people who push this and have these agendas and that generally tend to be lower IQ because of the lack of meat in their diet. They tend to be a bit stupid. They're not scientifically trained. They're just inculcated with an agenda that they've been brainwashed into doing. They've probably been Stockholmed into it. They think that they are virtuous and wonderful and that their farts don't smell because of pushing this diet. But in actual fact, they don't realise the global consequence of what they're doing and the massive malnutrition that follows from not eating any meat at all in your diet. And there's certain products, there's certain proteins in meat, for example, that help the uptake of other nutrients in vegetables, for example. There are proteins that there are coding proteins in meats that cannot come from anywhere else. There are so much things in meat that you cannot get anywhere else. And it's certainly a lot of amino acids and things like that are absolutely essential. But the vegans who push this are doing so from their virtuous point of, oh well, I don't eat this. I'm a level 3 vegan. I don't eat anything that casts a shadow. But they don't understand the full implications of what they're pushing, and it is damaging. And you look into the third world, especially, where these people who have such poor diets to begin with, and for whom getting a bit of milk out of a goat, getting a few eggs from the chickens, and then eventually the chickens themselves, they need this. This is their diet. Without these things, they would starve to death. And is that really what the vegans are pushing for? Mass starvation. It seems to be. I mean, and like I said, I don't mean the normies. I don't mean the people out there sitting at home that are just vegetarian by choice, or they have a problem with eating animals and things like that. We're talking about the militant, politicised, the extremists at the top of this. They're the ones pushing it. But they're pushing it, and they're pushing a dangerous agenda, and it needs to stop. So I agree with these scientists. Anyway, I shall round off there and come up. So I think the uptake we can get from this is, carry on. Eat what you like. Nobody cares. If you want to be vegan, be vegan. If you want to be vegetarian, be vegetarian. But just be prepared to accept that you're not getting the full range of nutrients and nutritional requirements that the human body needs on a daily basis. You may have to take alternative forms, pills, that's fine. But then be thankful that you are in a position that you can go and take these pills. There's many out in the world that don't have the ability, the money, or even the access to them. And for them, having some chickens, having some goats, even a cow if they're lucky, is very, very important, and you can't criticise them. And if you're not criticising them, then don't criticise me when I sit there and eat my bacon sandwiches. I love bacon. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, especially leave a like, that's the big one. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, eat what you like, and goodbye.